Good morning. So I am here this morning to make one of my dad's favorites. It's a pie filling cherry with pretty much anything, but we're making a cherry cream cheese Danish. So my dad and Marcia go to this bakery in Everett. The name has escaped me, and it's fantastic. They've introduced me to it, and I love it. Anyways, they have these head-size Danish with just mounds of the cherry filling and their perfection. I know that I'm not gonna come close, but if it invokes any type of that deliciousness, that's what we're after today. So this is gonna be my kind of how-to at home. This is great on the brunch for weekend family get-togethers, or for yourself, your sweetheart. So we are going to start with our, I've added 1 cube of cream cheese here, that's 8 ounces. Go ahead, put this in to my KitchenAid mixer. Get that going. The next thing that we are gonna do is give that, it's also at room temperature, which is really important. Give it a nice little spin around the block there, just to kind of loosen it all up. We are going to add, here I have about a cup. We're only gonna do about a half a cup. And we use powdered sugar for this, just to sweeten it. And the reason that you use powdered sugar and not regular sugar, or say brown sugar, my dad's personal favorite, I'll be a little heavy-handed with that powdered sugar today, is because it will absorb into the cream cheese, whereas say anything that's granulated is gonna stay coarse and grainy. So we kind of give that a mix. And to that, let's add just about I'm also heavy-handed with my vanilla, a nice big kind of close to a tablespoon of vanilla there. Some point you're gonna need to kind of stop, like I let this go, scrape the sides, really get all that powdered sugar, vanilla incorporated together. I could just take a spoon and go to town on this right now. So this is what's gonna be kind of our custard. Some of these call for an egg. I'm gonna go without the egg today and just do this nice sweet cream cheese filling. So once I've kind of, it's really not, you go, stubborn little guy, coming together. We get all that to kind of come together, just give it a little mix. Perfect. And I just want to make sure we don't have any lumps, clumps, and everything's nice, soft, blended together. Some of these also call for a little lemon. I am going without, and some of that lemon is the acid to cook also the egg, even though we are cooking it in the oven. So there's my mixture. Okay, now we are going to puff pastry. Here I have a Trader Joe's puff pastry. You can use anything, just freezer aisle, go and get it. Puff pastry is such a great thing to keep in your freezer for Christmas time. I'm known for a French onion braid I like to do, served great with salmon, pork, chicken, steak, anything. Caramelized onions, you just fill it up. You can do a little kind of make ahead pizza, and then like this for breakfast. So this is always a staple I love to have for just kind of emergency meal. So with your puff pastry, you're gonna get 2 sheets that come in the package. I'm gonna put one aside here, and as you will see, it comes into, well, 2 sections here. I'm used to, I think it's the Pepperidge Farm, maybe that comes with 3. Anywho, we are gonna leave these nice and big. I want a nice fluffy, you know, when you roll it out, it's gonna thin it out. I want a nice fluffy Danish today, so we are not going to be doing any rolling, and that's also easier too. So take a little knife, we're gonna go right down the center here with our 2 that we are provided. I feel like we've got kind of, maybe my good deal I thought I was getting was taken advantage of here. So go ahead and do this into 4 squares. So each piece that you have sectioned off into 2. You should end up with 4. And then we're gonna go ahead to our other one here and do the exact same thing. And that's just kind of our little outline that we're gonna go with. So making these for my dad is so fun. My dad is one of the biggest food critics, so I always run things by him, and he's coined a lot of the phrases. I've had better. That's one of my personal favorites. You know, he's a real straight shooter. He just says it without thinking. So if you want an honest answer, he is your guy. My cousin's favorite is, frankly, I'm not impressed. So it's always good laughs and good times. He has got an opinion. He doesn't always like things more gourmet. He doesn't like to overdo a good thing. Keep it simple, straightforward. So with these, that's exactly what we're doing today. The next thing we are going to do is get an egg to do an egg wash. So I'm gonna run over and grab that while you just get to enjoy the beautifulness of this puff pastry. So I was a little unprepared. Apparently all my assistants called in sick today. So with the egg, we just give it a little tap, break it open. I, of course, save my shells for my composting. Take a little bit of a fork here, and you're gonna want a nice brush. This is gonna be when we're finished here at 2 glaze. Give that a little whisk here, set it on the side, good to go. Now, we are gonna start by filling our filling here that we just made and brought together. So simple. Take that off the whisk. I'm probably off camera. I'm gonna set this aside and get every little bit out and just go crazy. I love a good any kind of batter, egg free, to go to town later, especially cream cheese. So per every one, we are going to add about a nice little dollop, tablespoon here of this cream cheese. Now remember, we don't want too much because it is going to ooze and goose, and I want to make this with more cherry than cream cheese. That's Dad's kind of, I think, preference on it. So right there in the middle, we add, and then I kind of lay it, you know, so good, flat. Okay. Now I have to wash my hands. It's my big rule in cooking. Okay, I'm back. Couldn't help myself. So good. And it's perfect. So we're gonna go around and we're gonna put a little dollop per each one. Kind of, you know, circle that out, flatten it out. Because remember, it's gonna ooze and goose with delicious flavor and everything. I mean, these are so nice. You know, you get up early in the morning, you kind of make these, your house is gonna smell amazing, especially if you have a guest. Delicious. These are inexpensive, you know, for the most part, and just amazing. It's like you ran out to the bakery, but did them yourself. So it's really just a matter of ingredients and time with this. And time is not of the essence. It is easy peasy, amazing. Okay, let me just give my hands a little rinse here. I cannot wait to dive into that batter. Okay, so now here is a very important step here that we're going to take. We are going to do a little folding here. Okay, so here we have the square with this. What we are going to be doing is we are going to be folding over our filling. And I'm trying to remember, is this how I want to do it? Yeah. So we fold that in, Bring one little corner in and the opposite. One little corner in, one little corner in, and just to the outer edges of that. And so we have, as you can see here, bringing all 4 sides in, touch to touch. But I don't want to bring them in, so I want this to be kind of a larger circle in Danish. So I don't want to bring the points together by any means. I just want them to kind of almost touch that outer kind of filling. Okay, we're bringing all of our points in. So good. Remember, the further out your points are, the bigger that Danish is going to be. Now, what I've used here for my baking sheets is I have underneath, you may not be able to tell or see, is the Silpats here, which is a non-stick. I love that. And then what for easy cleaning and also just another extra barrier, I have the sheets of parchment paper. That's easy cleanup and also just another layer of non-stick. Okay, now we're going to go to the cherry filling. I think this is maybe for cherry filling the only way I can kind of stand it. There's no fancy way to do a cherry filling. I feel like there is homemade, but just straight from the can, I think is really the only kind of way you can do it for this. There is a way to do a homemade though, where you can do fresh cherries, but for Alzuk, there's no other way. This is that red dye 75 taste that is amazing. So we are going very generous, as you can see, on our cherries and the filling, and it's probably gonna just bubble and ooze out, and that's all right. So we're just gonna put these, you know, haphazardly, but you know, try and having a little bit of direction, not too sloppy, just right in the center. There's really no rules for these. I feel like you can't mess them up. I mean, try to keep them clean as you can. This is also a great one, I feel like, for kids, like to bring in kids to do also, and let them kind of be a part of all that. So get all that delicious cherry goodness. This is one of my bigger ones where I kept those points further out, so I'm really gonna load up the cherries. Cherry baby. Looks so good. So for the 2 packages that we've made with this, it takes up almost a whole can, not fully, so you will have a little extra left over. And then, now I realize, because this is my first time making these, that we should have probably egg washed the whole thing before we put the cherry filling. So point and pro tip, do that first. But we're gonna go ahead, you can't mess this up. We're just gonna go around it with the egg wash. But yes, going forward, I would probably egg wash first and then put your cherry pie filling on last. So we're just gonna kind of work around here on these edges and stuff. The only problem with now is you run into the fact of getting that coloring together with the egg wash and moving that red color over, which, you know, I don't really like the colors. It's not as clean bleeding, so that's what's gonna probably happen here. You can see already like a couple spots, but so lesson learned. I mean, every time you do something, you realize why or what not to do next time, and we have just discovered for this recipe what not to do. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead, finish glazing these. These go into the oven, 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. Just keep an eye on them. Want to get them nice, big, beautiful, don't let them burn. And that egg wash is gonna help with that, give a nice glaze. Once they come out of the oven, we're gonna let those fully cool. And then what I'm going to be making with the rest of my powdered sugar here after I clean the bowl with my spoon and mouth. Breakfast of champions. We are going to make a icing here to go over these beautiful pastries, and we'll just do a nice little swizzle. So you'll use probably about a half to a cup, 3/4 of a cup of the powdered sugar, little vanilla and lemon juice. Bring that so that it comes just to a little glaze, and then a little cream. I don't always have cream in my house, so I'm gonna use anything, milk, almond milk, anything. So just give that a little thing, make a glaze, and that's how they'll be finished once they're cooled.